Well, what can I say? Looks like Russia is ready to give up Kherson so that they can focus on creating better defenses for Melitopol. In addition to that, the fleeing Russian soldiers from Kherson will most likely have to leave their weapons, equipment and vehicles behind, and guess who is going to be there to pick this all up? That's right, Ukraine. And finally, President Zelensky and the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine is asking all the Crimean residents to report on any activities by Russian soldiers, which most likely hints us that after liberating Kherson, Ukrainian forces will turn south to Crimean Peninsula. But more about all of this in a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's go straight to the point and talk about the liberation of Kherson. First of all, as you can see from this video, the Antonovsky Bridge was under attack once again. In addition to that, the Ukrainian forces were able to destroy even more Russian military equipment in the southern Kherson. Then we have this picture from Chernobyevka, where it has been reported that Ukrainians destroyed another Russian military warehouse. And finally, yet another military warehouse of Russians was destroyed in Tavrisk. In several seconds I'll be talking about Russians who are ready to give up Kherson so that they can save Melitopol, but first of all, here is this video which allegedly came to us from the western part of Kherson. And as you can see right here, the army of Ukraine is moving closer and closer to the city of Kherson, and there is basically no resistance from Russians. And by the way, if you want to see more pictures and videos of Ukraine's counteroffensive, as well as the footage that I was not able to use in today's episode, please consider checking my Patreon. All the proceeds will be donated to Ukraine, and you can find all the useful links down below. Okay, and now let's get back to one of the main points of this video. So, according to the Institute for the Study of War, the rapid counteroffensive of Ukrainians made Russians drastically change its priorities in the south. And one of the main reasons for this, as I already mentioned in my last couple of episodes, is that Russians in this territory are most likely trapped. And if you're watching my video for the very first time, briefly what it means is that all the major bridges in this area are practically unusable, which makes the retreat of the Russians nearly impossible unless they abandon their weapons, equipments and military vehicles. But I'll talk about it more in details very soon. So back to the report by the Institute for the Study of War. Because of the reasons I just mentioned, it will take a great effort for Russians to regain the control in Kherson. And because of this, the decision to give up this territory will be most likely made in the nearest future. And in return, Russians would prefer to concentrate their efforts on defending Melitopol. But most likely, it's not gonna happen either, and here is why. Like mentioned previously, thousands of Russians trapped to the north of Dnipro River will have three options. The first option is to simply surrender and save their lives. Option number 2 is to abandon the majority of their equipment and cross the river, because let's be honest, it's pretty hard to swim in full body armor, and tanks I don't think that they work underwater. And the option number 3 is to stay where they are and continue fighting while knowing that most likely help is not coming. And I guess the choice for Russian soldiers in this case is pretty obvious. Because of this, as soon as this area is liberated, Ukraine will capture a lot of Russian military equipment, which is the very same equipment that Russia needs so much if they want to defend Melitopol. And this devastating situation for Russians in terms of their remaining weapons is also confirmed by the insider report. According to them, Russia might run out of the most of their ammunition of weapons before the end of this year. And the reason it can happen, it is because they used lots of it in the first stages of the war, and replenishing is not as easy. Building military equipment takes several months, and there are no Western countries who are willing to send these weapons to Russia. I mean, unless it's Iran, who reportedly already sent its drones to Russia. And yeah, whenever Ukraine receives weapons from the West, this is begging, but whenever Russia receives weapons from another country, this is the military support. You just don't understand it, it's different. But okay, let me give you a couple more extremely important updates from the south. And before we talk about the government of Ukraine asking the residents of Crimea to cooperate with them against Russia, allow me to give you a couple quick words from Zaporozhye region. And while I'm going there, please consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel if you like this style of daily updating. Okay, in this first video we can see Russians shelling Nikopol. And if we go a little bit to the east, to the city of Tokmak, we can see Ukrainians who are able to destroy another Russian military warehouse. And in this video right here, we can see the International Atomic Energy Agency delegation arriving to Zaporozhye. Try saying twice faster. The purpose of their visit is to control the situation on Zaporozhye nuclear power plant. And it has even been reported earlier today that the Russian infiltrator in Zaporozhye region, Vladimir Rogov, he declined to give the delegation the special pass. Which means that the delegation had to wait in line with everyone else, which obviously delayed the arrival. And I guess what really happened is that the Russians were like, what? They already arrived? So quick? Come on, just think. How can we delay them even more? We still didn't hide all the evidence. Faster, think. And suspiciously enough, Russia also released this video earlier today. And what's basically happening is that they're detaining these Ukrainian terrorists who are planning the attack on the nuclear power plant. I mean, right before the delegation arrives. What a coincidence. But okay, let's go to another major part of the video, which is the situation in Crimea. First of all, in this video right here, we can see a very big fire which is happening in Krasnogvardeyskaya. Some people say that this was the oil base, while the others say that this was some kind of a trade center. But neither Russia nor Ukraine confirms that this is the result of a missile attack, which basically means most likely somebody was once again smoking. And then we have the statement by President Zelensky, who is asking those Ukrainians living in Crimea to stay as far as possible from Russian military objects. And at the same time, he, along with the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, are asking the Crimean residents to report any Russian forces' activities. And this includes the locations of military objects, the roads that military vehicles takes, and the conversations they can hear. In addition to previous statements that Ukraine was already making about retaking Crimea as soon as possible, this new information allows me to assume that as soon as Kherson region is liberated, Ukraine will turn south to Crimean peninsula. Welcome to another episode of Ridiculous Russian Propaganda. And first of all, let me know in the comments what do you think you're looking at. And well, if you're just as confused as me when I just saw this picture, this is basically the Robert Downey Jr. who is wearing socks which say Russia. Well, as you can guess, the guy who played the Iron Man is pretty popular actor, and whenever this picture appeared on the internet, it made Russian patriots become crazy. They were basically like, Look, Hollywood supports Russia, Robert Downey Jr. is on our side, come on, how they can support evil country, it means we're good, right? I mean, like, literally, you go into the comments and you see so much toxicity, just because of one Western Hollywood actor is wearing socks, which most likely he doesn't even understand what's written there. But anyways, even though my studio is pretty clean and there's nothing in the back, the actual studio is a ridiculous disaster. And if you want to see how everything looks behind the camera, and here you go, I'm gonna take a picture right now, feel free to join my Discord. And if you want to support my work, please consider becoming my channel member. Thank you so much for your attention, stay safe and see you tomorrow.